Business as usual. What does that mean? Is it business as usual, guys? Are you doing the same thing that you normally would be doing? Are you going out to the movies, going to the gyms? No, because it's not business as usual. The world is changing, right? And that means its social patterns are changing. And we have to understand this if we're going to understand the world in the coming months and coming years. Okay? So let me get into this. Social patterns, right? It means the patterns and the habits of general groups of people, not the individual. Okay? Social patterns are important and they're very, very powerful. Okay? It had the power to change, to drive the civil rights movement. That's insane, right? That's insane. Rosa Parks and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. can't speak, but both those people, they incorporated the power of social habits to ignite the change that they wanted to see in their society. Using Jesus' teachings and Gandhi's teachings, Dr. King was able to change and invite the entire world and change their own social behaviors, starting with the Montgomery bus boycott, right? They changed it, dude. They changed it just by power of will, but what they understood is that they could use that and create a better world. The world is changing now again. This virus may not be the change of it. However, it's creating the next era of the world. It's creating the how weak or let me say that again. Let me back up. It is changing and igniting and showing us how weak we are and how susceptible we are to germ warfare. There are people in this world that are meaning to do us harm, and they will use germ warfare in the coming future. It will happen. But if we're smart, we will adjust our social habits just as we did in the last week so that we can combat that. But because of the social habits are changing, more things are going to be going online. More things are going to be going without the community. But because humans are still communal factors, God even said it himself in the Bible that we need each other to survive. We will figure out a way to stay social. So we need to figure out what the next social patterns and social habits are going to be. Oh yeah, that was too much for you guys, right? Even take this, last week, when you try to go for a handshake with somebody, right? Try to go for a handshake and they backed away, or they went for a handshake for you and you backed away. Remember how awkward that was? Do you remember how awkward that was? You had to laugh and joke it off and brush it off. It's because you violated one of the social patterns and social habits that we have. And that's just a simple handshake, dude. And then you already can see how much that has shifted in the last week. Are you starting to understand it now? Yeah, okay. Let's keep going then. So, I need you to invent, reinvent, and thrive. It's from a book. I forget the name of the author, but that's the name of the book. Invent, reinvent, and thrive. You need to invent yourself in this new age, in this new coming way. And then you need to reinvent that same idea so that it still stays built into the groundings of what we're used to. Okay? It has to be familiar. It has to be familiar or people won't accept it. Remember that. And then, because we did that and we were ahead of the curve and we could actually anticipate the coming era, we're going to thrive and we're going to be staying on top of it. Do it for your family. Do it for yourself. It's coming sooner than you realize. Let's get it. But in doing so, in building it all, we need to become servant leaders and servant followers. Not all of us are leaders, not all of us are followers, but it takes a special kind of teachings to become both. There's an effective way to do both, and there's also a dangerous way to do both. You know that leader or that boss that thinks he's a leader, that he's really not. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. But the servant part of it is actually getting down to your people and what they need and what they really need. John Maxwell even had a theory about this, right? He even said that leadership is not about being the best. It's about making those around you better. And I really attest to that leaders are force providers or force maximizers. They're not the best at whatever they do, but they know how to find the best and make them work toward a common goal, even because it's the right thing to do. So we need to get down to that. So the takeaway, I need you to start talking to people in your life and seeing what is going on. Get down to it and get on the pulse of what the people around you are, and get that idea and get that thought, because the next video I'm gonna get you guys. Till then, next time, let's get it, guys.